Ranking Captain America movies from worst to best after the release of Captain America Brave New World. In last place, we're not actually starting with an MCU Captain America movie, we're going back in time to 1990 with this version of Captain America. Now, I have no beef against old movies, obviously. Some of the greatest films of all time are classics that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old at this point, but this movie, despite being made in 1990, somehow feels like it's like 30 years older than it is. Giving the movie a 3 out of 10, which honestly is a little generous, but I just feel like this movie does actually really understand the character of Steve Rogers and Captain America, what his motivations are, and how he would act in these scenarios. The problem is the script is borderline insane, and all the other characters are just so wacky. I know it's kind of insane for me to do this, but I'm gonna almost recommend you watch this movie that I just gave a 3 out of 10 because I feel like it's something you kind of have to see to believe, and it's just so important to learn where comic book movies were not that long ago before we got like the Raimi Spider-Man films. And number 4 is Captain America Brave New World. Now, this is low on the list, but the Captain America movies are just so solid. This is still like a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed myself with this movie, even though it does have flaws. Because no, it's not as good as the other Captain America movies that are going to be on this list, but I think it does a pretty solid job at giving us a new political intrigue, kind of a whodunit, who's behind the scenes pulling the strings. I wasn't really sure about Anthony Mackie as Captain America, honestly. Like, I was happy for the actor getting the role, but I just wasn't sure how to feel about Sam Wilson, the character, taking on the mantle, because he was very goofy, you know, he's always throwing in jokes when he was Falcon. And yeah, he has some very cringy quips early on in this movie, but when he really plays this role serious, you can see why he's the new Captain America, and I really loved his performance in this movie, and I'm genuinely excited to see him continue playing this character. Oddly though, I really think the best arc in the entire movie goes to Ross. Harrison Ford steps into this character so perfectly. They actually make him a really interesting kind of complex character. He has a good emotional arc in the movie, and the transformation for the first time into Red Hulk is absolutely insane. I legitimately think them making the Red Hulk reveal in the trailer was a big mistake, because honestly, if this was a surprise reveal building up throughout the movie, it would have hit like crazy in the theaters for the first time. The movie's far from perfect. There's some action that's just not great at all. A lot of the hand-to-hand combat's very choppy, but there was a whole entire aerial sequence around the Celestial that I honestly thought was really cool. Overall, a 7 out of 10, very enjoyable cat movie. I don't understand the insane amount of hate this movie's getting. I think it's just people being overly cynical of the MCU as a whole right now. And number 3, I have Captain America, the First Avenger. This is another 7 out of 10 movie for me. Honestly, this and Brave New World, after I rewatched them both, could switch places. They're very similar in my opinion. Both have very distinct flaws and thrive in certain areas and are weak in others. I honestly think the Red Skull isn't the greatest villain in this movie, even though I love Hugo Weaving. I just feel like there's more they could have done with him. I know that's kind of a hot take though. The origin story of Steve Rogers in this movie is genuinely amazing, and it's what me and so many other people love about Captain America. This small, scrawny guy becoming the soldier we all know and love was just incredible to watch. What really puts this movie above Brave New World for me is the connection between Steve and Peggy and Steve and Bucky. It's just a lot stronger than Sam Wilson's connection to Joaquin, his new Falcon, and Isaiah Bradley. Make sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments below your ranking of the Captain America movies that you've seen at least. At my number 2 is Captain America Civil War, which I always feel weird about putting in a Captain America movie ranking because it's really like Avengers 2.5. Plus, I'm Team Iron Man, but I'll put my biases aside. This is an absolutely amazing MCU film. So many just amazing moments in this. Everything between Steve and Bucky, as always, being like the main conflict of this entire trilogy pretty much, is absolutely incredible. You got that iconic airport battle scene, legitimately one of the best fights in the entire MCU. The introduction of Black Panther in this movie is literally one of the coolest hero introductions I've ever seen. Zemo's legitimately one of my favorite MCU villains as well. The way he orchestrated everything in this movie, giving us the final showdown between Cap and Tony, is incredible. Again, I'm always for these more personal, small-scale battles between heroes and their conflicts rather than like saving the world from 87 nukes falling on it. I guess having an end of the universe event is fun every once in a while, but I much prefer these more personal conflicts. You got Team Cap versus Team Tony and Ross in the middle of it all, and it's incredible. As much as I love Captain America Civil War, it's honestly probably in my top like 5 or 6 MCU films of all time. My number 1 favorite MCU and Captain America movie is The Winter Soldier. This is just perfection. This is the blueprint for having an amazing spy political thriller that they've been trying to replicate with things like Secret Invasion that were terrible and Brave New World that are solid and a good attempt at this, but just not up to this masterpiece quality. I also think this is the best action in the entire MCU. The combat with the Winter Soldier is insane throughout the entire film. Captain America on that ship at the beginning, like the choreography is out of this world and something that MCU has never done or reached past this movie. The fact that people are upset that the Russo brothers are coming back to do Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars when they did both Infinity War, Endgame, this movie, and Civil War is insane to me. They've shown they know how to cook in the MCU. As I said, let me know your list in the comments below, and make sure to tap on screen now to check out one of my other videos. The first one on top is me reviewing Captain America Brave New World, and the second one is me ranking all the big movies coming out this summer by how excited I am for them.